us a country study of Ethiopia, and he has 45 minutes for it, everything complete, including discussions. You want any? Well, some people don't want discussions, so they take the chop all the time. We have started also some time. Yeah, he has PowerPoint presentation. Here you are.
I feel a little out of place doing this country study. Number one, I'm not an Ethiopian. I know I look pretty close, but and there are Ethiopians here who could easily do as good a job as I could. And I hope that when we come to the question time that they'll assist me in making responses. Number two, I don't live in Ethiopia anymore. Now I'm at St. Paul's University, and I've been there for a year, and we just got this brochure hot off the press for the master's program in Islamic Christian-Muslim relations, and you should have had a copy in your folder, and if you need any additional copies, I have a few here that I can give away.
I think there was a post-university reform.
Okay, yes, I'm not a PowerPoint expert, actually, but I've been inspired by my 16-year-old son to work on it, and in fact, he helped me out with this. I did the rough thing, and then he put in all the background and animation and stuff. So don't credit me for that. In fact, I had to restrain him from putting all the bells and whistles. Okay, Christian-Muslim relations in Ethiopia, an ongoing dichotomy between concord, that is harmony or agreement, and conflict. Probably most of us are used to that wherever we are. But there are some differences. And here I just have a synopsis of my paper. And in case you forget where Ethiopia is, there it is. And it's actually a pretty sizable country population-wise. I believe now it's somewhere between 70 and 75 million people, making it second after Nigeria in African population. Now, I call Ethiopia a unique case for Christian-Muslim relations. One reason is that it's when Islam arrived, it already found a Christian church. That's different from most of sub-Saharan Africa, where Islam was there when the church arrived. Of course, the same could be said for Egypt and northern Sudan to some extent, that there was an ancient church already there. But unlike those two places, in Ethiopia, Islam did not become dominant, but instead the Christian state remained in control most of the time. So that kind of makes it unique. Now, as I indicated in my title, the relations between Muslims and Christians have varied between concord and conflict. We've all seen that pretty much throughout Africa. Here, there's a historical dimension that is very important to consider. And it starts back with the dawn of Islam, and even before that, in the 4th century, Christianity came to what it was then called Abyssinia. Abyssinia is a smaller region in the northwest section of current Ethiopia. A fellow named Frumentius, a Syrian monk, actually was shipwrecked on the shore, Red Sea shore, as a boy, brought to the court, shared his faith. The king and the court converted, and then it stayed with the court for a while, until some Christian monks came from Syria with theologically monophysite Christianity and spread it among the masses. But especially the Bible translation into what Bible scholars call Ethiopic, but is known in Ethiopia as Giz, that was a very important factor in the spread of Christianity throughout Abyssinia. Now, Abyssinia was also involved in Arabia even before Muhammad was born. In the 6th century, there were Christians in Najran, a city in the south of Arabia. A Jewish king conquered the city and persecuted them. The Negus, or the Ethiopian king, sent his army to assist them and drove out the Jewish king. But a renegade officer named Abraha stayed behind, and he set up his own sort of kingdom in the south with his capital in Sana'a. And maybe you're familiar with the story in Surah 105, this sort of tefillah, sort of the elephant. It talks about this Abyssinian fellow who attacked the Kaaba and was defeated. And that's a reference to this Abraha. Apparently he wanted to lure the economic trade to his magnificent cathedral in Sana'a. And he saw the Kaaba in his way. But yeah, apparently he didn't succeed. In any case, by 600 the Persians had conquered South Arabia, and there were no more Abyssinians as an army. But Muhammad himself had contact with Abyssinian Christians, according to Muslim sources. First of all, his childhood nurse. And we know that from those sources, his mother died when he was 6 and instructed Barakah to act in her stead, so that even though when Muhammad went to first his grandfather's house and then his uncle's house, Barakah was there raising him. Jabr, there's a story in Ibn Ishaq about Jabr, who was reading his Giz Bible, we assume Giz, while Muhammad listened. If you know the story, the Quraysh were attacking Muhammad for getting his thinking from people like Jabr. The Quran is going against that idea. And then Bilal. Bilal is a famous name among Ethiopian Muslims. He was an early convert, freed by Abu Bakr, and then became the first muadhin, or caller to prayer, after the Hijrah to Medina. And there undoubtedly were other Abyssinian Christians who had contact with Muhammad and perhaps led to some of his understanding of Christianity to some extent. Then we have this incident called the First Hijrah, again related in detail by Ibn Ishaq. The Quraysh, or Muhammad's tribe, were persecuting the early Muslim community, and so Muhammad sent them to Abyssinia for refuge. This, despite the reputation that Abyssinia had against Mecca under Abraha, still there was a good reputation, enough that Muhammad sent these Muslims. He himself, of course, stayed in Mecca under the protection of his uncle. His cousin Ja'far recited the Quran in the presence of the Negus, because the Negus held a kind of a court session to hear what they had to say, because the Quraysh tried to, they sent 2 emissaries to bring the Muslims back. But the Negus said, no, this and what Jesus brought have come from the same niche. He saw the close relation between their faith and his own. In fact, there's a tradition that he himself later converted to Islam, and that Muhammad prayed